It is with deep respect and joyful gratitude that we welcome Professor Indu Shakya today. Your presence here is a true blessing for our community, a rare opportunity to receive the Dhamma through the lens of both rigorous scholarship and lived insight. May this session be a source of inspiration and clarity for all gathered here. Thank you for offering your time, your wisdom, and your gentle encouragement to those walking the path. With reverence and warm welcome, we now invite Professor Indu Shakya to begin.
Thank you very much, Nanda. Gratitude to all of you for considering that I'm capable of kind of delivering this Dhamma talk. I have started this, let's say, a 4-part series on the process of awakening. Yeah, the root word for the Buddha came from the Bodhi. And this is the 3rd part on the series, which I'm hoping to continue until the 4th one. And so to just give you a bit of a reminder, in the first part, I cover the actual process of awakening, which is kind of, you can say, the reverse process of suffering. And the second part, I cover the what is the kind of the experience of awakening boils down into, and what are the key hallmarks of that awakening process, and what are the key words that we can distill from this experience, which is multidimensional in nature. And I gave quite a few keywords, for example, non-proliferation, imperishable, kind of unconditioned, these sort of things. Yeah. So this process of awakening leads to that sort of an experience which transcend that sort of our everyday notion about here and there, above, below, here, now and then, that sort of, dimension of space and time. Yeah. So this is a very, very peculiar state that can only be experienced. It cannot be categorized into any category of existence, non-existence, both existence and both non-existence. That sort of tetralemma type of questioning that used to be very, very prevalent at the time of the Buddha. All these kind of philosophers and kind of various ascetics, they wanted to frame Buddha into that sort of tetralemma. Look, choose A, B, C, D. It must be one of these. And Buddha rejected that sort of categorization because it simply doesn't fall into that sort of categorization. It can only be experienced. Yeah. So this awakening process is to be experienced, to be seen. And that sort of seeing process is also because this is the nature of the what Buddha discovered was that there are certain kind of philosophies that go off tangent at certain point. Yeah. So in my book, in this book, I have captured this essence of that sort of philosophies into 2 leaning straws that are kind of supporting figure number 7 in page number 71. I have put that sort of some sort of a 2 straw that are crossing each other, and that is the notion of the philosophers that either tend to reify the materialism, to say that everything in this universe, everything in this cosmos is material. It is concoction, and it is in a kind of a, let's say, a combination, chemical composition, and very, very complicated permutation of those atoms and molecules that all of a sudden led into some sort of experiences that will project some sort of a chemical reaction in our brain, and all of a sudden we perceive, sense, and that sort of experience pain and pleasure. So they say that that chemical reaction in the brain is what causes the universe and that's all these experiences to arise. So they equate that we are nothing more than some bunch of electrons and protons. And it is, I have made quite a sharp criticism of this sort of very premature notion. So, and another very, let's say, opposing dimension to this sort of materialism is the belief that everything is consciousness, everything is there is supreme awareness that is governing and that sort of all these experiences, all the beings, and there is a supreme consciousness or what is called the experience beyond cognition that sort of it transcends mind, intelligence, and they call it Atman or Brahman type of kind of philosophy, which and Buddha, when that question came into the time of the Buddha, and when you come to that sort of various speculation, how to demystify or how to debunk those sort of dogmas or mysticism, you can only refute them if you have seen and heard and if you have directly seen for yourself. And Buddha used that sort of direct experiential approach. Okay, how do we settle this sort of dilemma? That sort of, is it world material? Is the world pure awareness? And he came up with a sort of a very practical and direct experiential approach. Is all these two opposing philosophies are overshooting. They are projecting rather than seeing the uh, seeing the reality as it is. And in that figure 7, there is a very, very important point. When where there is a point of contact. Yeah. So I keep going back to this point of contact. Contact is extremely important uh, point to it is a very, very important phenomenon to understand. So what essentially contact, what is contact? Is that we got a faculties, we got a five sense faculties, and there is a kind of what is called five, let's say, sense impingement coming from so-called external world. Yeah. So there is a fine membrane across our sense faculties, and that fine membrane that we is kind of veil, is kind of some sort of demarcation point in each of those five sense faculty and five sensory world. Yeah. So we tend to put sort of demarcation, and there's a okay, anything beyond is in this body is me, and that is whatever beyond this kind of in that demarcation of the body is, they call it world. Yeah. And that's immediately they create what is called the me versus the world. Yeah. And that kind of illusion of self is created because of assumption that kind of this experience, the five sense faculty and consciousness gives that sort of illusion that there is a separate self that is perceiving and making sense of the world, and that sort of illusion is creating all this sort of philosophy is the world is eternal, world is non-eternal, world is all these sort of things. Yeah. So I do not want to go into that sort of 52 or 62 speculative views. Now, Buddha, and in this sort of very, very noisy and extremely complicated situation, how Buddha came to realize that sort of a very, very thin kind of only strand of reality that is, propelling and keeping this sort of, let's say, opinions, ideas, speculation. It is prolonging that sort of speculation. So I don't know if let me see if I can share my screen. But what I wanted to show here is some sort of a, I like to visually present this sort of ideas, concept. And again, I am a bit cautious not to over-represent those experiences of mine in terms of, you know, diagrams of, that sort of things. Yeah. Okay. So what is happening is that, what happens is that the experiences, whenever they hit the mind is kind of a, there is a mind that is, that is getting the input from what is called the five kind of constituent, yeah, which are called the five aggregate. And those five aggregates are one of the things is the body itself, or just call it form. Buddha calls it rupa. Rupa is kind of some sort of a sensation or some sort of a of something solid, vibratory, heat, and what is called. These are the core property. You can take any material, any kind of stuff, including body and the sort of matter outside. They boil down into four experiences: experience of solidness of element, experience of water, the cohesion, experience of heat and heat, of temperature, cold and warmness, and the experience of what is called the air, which is the some sort of a motion, yeah, some sort of movement. Yeah, so these are the four elements that is constituting the what is called experience of body or form. This form arises, so form is one aggregate, and you have got a feeling aggregate. Then there is another aggregate called perception, and there is another aggregate of what is called intention, the process of doing some sort of activities through those sort of faculties, and there is a consciousness. Yeah. So these are the what is called five aggregates are totally let's say separate entities that are coming together. And what is happening is that the process of um, how this sense of self and the sense of projection arises is these five faculties, these five aggregates, they are kind of, let's say, what happens is that they are leaning to each other. Yeah, they are like a five you can call it bamboo pole or something. You are uh, erecting a tent using a five pole. So you to be, we always do that sort of, you can build a tent when those five, let's say, poles are properly erected and they are supporting each other. Yeah. So this is quite a precarious position that is supporting what is called the sense of what is called our identity. Yeah. So because of our identity attached to those sort of five aggregates, then because they are now concocted and built into some sort of concept called tent, now those five kind of aggregates are precariously balanced to sustain a so-called a concept called self. Yeah, and whatever happens whenever that sort of those that concept or identity of those sort of five things coming together is being kind of reacted to, and the point of reaction occurs at the contact. Yeah, so contact is bringing together all these notions and what is called the aggregates together, and they all converge to what is called the feeling. Yeah, so feeling is the point of where those, I mean, I can give you the sutta reference. It is called, what is the root? It is called Kima Mulak Sutta. What is the root of all these, phenomena? And that sutta is extremely important sutta. So just take a note of that, Kima Mulaka Sutta, and it gives the what are the kind of how which factor is contributing to, and which factor is important in the in our experience of phenomenon. Yeah. So feeling is where all the experiences converge, and that is the point of convergence. So that is like a, you can call it the tallest pole of the tent. Yeah. So feeling is gonna be quite a primary type of convergence of all those sort of experiences. And when that feeling is, let's say, identified, and then sort of you start to project another. This is pleasurable. This is painful. This is neither painful nor pleasure. This sort of categorization would lead to what is called our another kind of the proliferation. That is where the world the proliferation starts. Yeah. And what the Buddha found was that the point of convergence of all these phenomena and point of proliferation. Yeah. And between these two things, two events, therein lie the freedom. Is that if you can allow that process to not being reacted to, so you let those five uh, aggregate to just subside on its own, not being reacted to, not giving fuel of your attention, then what is going to happen is that these phenomena just disappear out of nowhere. Yeah, they were just some sort of a ghost-like phenomena. Yeah, so it's very very let's say counterintuitive. It does not really make sense. How can we say that this universe, all these matter and atoms and molecules, these are a substantial unit? How can this mobile phone not be a something truly existing unit, object out there? Yeah, we tend to take these things extremely, let's say, seriously, and say that there is a very very there is a extremely solid and real world out there. And what the Buddha found was that that world is out there because of our projection, because of our reaction. Yeah. So that kind of projection is what is called that full sweeping of arising of the five aggregate, convergence of those five aggregates, and the point of reaction, and leading to the sort of proliferation of ideas, concept, and leading all the way to suffering. You see that the whole process. You have got there are two important uh, phenomena, shall I call it, or the dhammas. You can understand Buddha's dhamma in terms of dependent origination. Dependent origination is a complete chain. It's a complete recipe for suffering. Higher aggregate is what is called the ingredient. Yeah, it's like a you are cooking a meal dish, a dinner. Higher aggregate is just a recipe for, or let's say it is like a butter, it is a salt, it is a meat, and that sort of things. Yeah, so those things are just raw kind of ingredient. The thing, when they become a full blown like a chicken curry or that sort of a fish curry, those sort of dependent origin is turning the sort of uh, separate aggregate, separate entity into a concept called meal and a five-star dinner and those sort of things. Yeah. So hybrid aggregates is that's why these two are very very closely related, and the dependent process of dependent origination captures the whole story of why we get tangled, why we start to create all this sort of infinite proliferation of more and more what is called projection, and the entanglement, call it vibration, that sort of all the agitation and that sort of things are what is called byproduct of not seeing the contact. That contact is just a concept. It's just a coming together of those five various entities that are separate, and then reacting that okay, this is me, and there's a world. So that sort of a reaction is causing that sort of dependent origination to continue infinitely forever. Yeah. So I keep telling Buddha says that there are how many Mahakapas there were, Lord, and Buddha says it is impossible to count how many Mahakapas there were. It's like a grain in this. Even if you put all the grains of all the oceans and put together in one heap, this many Mahakapa has gone, and you still have not found when this universe, the sort of samsara started. Yeah. So we have been in the samsara for countless and countless and countless. It doesn't go. We cannot trace the root. Yeah. So that kind of it when I started to when I contemplated this thing is that this is really we have got to Buddha say this to arouse some sort of inspire us to see that look, would you like to be in this sort of loop for another countless Mahakapa, or you would like to break free of this sort of cycle? It's just a cycle, isn't it? It's like what more you will experience? You'll be eating the same food. You'll be going to the same hotel. You'll be enjoying that sort of same airplane and that sort of holidays in somewhere. It just becomes so much repetitive, so much very very and only people who are who are slightly more mature in terms of their understanding of this process, they know that this is just it's just a never ending repetition. Why you want to do the same thing again and again and be amazed? And that is that is why people, they do not take this point seriously. They said that okay, we are here to just enjoy our life. We only get one life, and after this life is gone, that's it. We are gone. All our existence, everything, our experiences get destroyed and annihilated. So we must make use of all this, all that experience that we have in terms of five faculties. We enjoy the utmost luxury, and we enjoy utmost kind of a taste in the very very exquisite dinner and that sort of things. So this sort of clinging to those sort of experiences are keeping uh, most of the people, and I have seen even some very very probably renowned teachers, they cannot relinquish that sort of attachment to the sense pleasure. Yeah. So that brings me to the next point I wanted to on discuss in this experience, the third part. So uh, and I mentioned about the samsara. It's just same thing over and over again. What different you do? You might do, instead of eating at home, you might eat at the restaurant. You might be eating at somewhere, but essentially you are eating the same food, and you are defecating, urinating. You are doing that all these other activities of that this human existence brings you, and you'll be undergoing such a pain and disasters, all this sort of calamity and disaster that can snatch your life anytime, in any moment. you are in the mercy of this sort of nature. Yeah. So this nature can take away your life anytime. And what the Buddha gave was something that cannot impact, no matter what kind of debacle and disaster there are in this universe, in the cosmos, you are separated from that destiny. Yeah. So this is the fruit of awakening. I wanted to talk a little bit about the why practice. What is the benefit, or what is the, not call it benefit, or what is the kind of relief? What is the what are the good valid reason to practice? Yeah, and we need to step outside this conventional ideas that we have only one life, and we are here to just enjoy our sense faculties. If we stay with that sort of notions and ideas, then dependent origination is there to continue this forever. Yeah. So we are trying to break free of the cycle of being uh, completely being in that sort of a helpless state. Yeah. And Buddha says that you, if you learn the Dhamma, if you take a refuge in the Dhamma, you are never helpless. Yeah. Are you are your own helper. Yeah. So this is the, be your own island, or be your own refuge. That is why and this is the path I am kind of I am following because of this. It's all your self responsibility, and it is your self tracking. You can track your progress without any needing any kind of help from any teachers. Yeah, you don't need any advanced teacher saying that you are Sotapanna, you are Sakadgami, you are Anagami, or you are an Arhat. Yeah, don't worry about that. Yeah, so Buddha didn't want to be dragged into that sort of situation. Oh, this person died. Is he? And Sotapanna, it is Sakadgami. And Buddha said that, look, you practice and you can see all that by yourself. If you have not done the practice, Buddha gave that sort of formula. Is how you become a Sotapanna. Buddha says, by the way, this Sotapanna is the first fruit, and the first fruit of uh, this practice, not, I will not say the practice, it's the first fruit of this path, yeah, this path of inquiry into this uh, uh, Dhamma, which consists of these three steps, Sila, Samadhi, and Panna. Yeah. So Buddha's categorization into four categories: Sotapanna, Sakadgami, Nagami, Arahat. Although this can also be broken down, those four categories, Buddha called them Arya disciples. Arya means they are super kind of, this is the path of liberation. They are kind of they have established in the path of liberation. Yeah. So Arya disciples are who will inevitably will be free of this what is called the samsara. Yeah. So um, they have seen the Dhamma in a rudimentary form, and Sotapanna is somebody who have found the way. Yeah, they have seen, identified, this is the path that is going to lead to the what is called freedom, or freedom on condition, or deathless. They have seen the vision of the deathless. Yeah, vision of what is called not being conditioned by all this sort of cosmos, of all this sort of eventuality that can destroy the life. It can and take away all this sort of let's say our existence anytime. So in the category of what is in Sotapanna, This is the first fruit. And Buddha does not necessarily say that you have to practice to be able to uh, be considered as a stream winner, Sotapanna. Yeah. So um, I, I read quite a few passages. What is this Sotapanna? Yeah. So it is someone is leaning towards, or it is the person is established in the stream of Dhamma. Yeah. So do you need to practice that meditation for that? I would say that it is not a must. Yeah. So the Buddha's Dhamma is such that if you can understand the Dhamma in your concept, and if you can directly relate to your everyday experience, then you have kind of gained that sort of very, very basic understanding of the Dhamma. Yeah. And that is what the stream Dhamma follower, Buddha call it the faith followers, Dhamma followers, and then you have got the directly what is called realizing, those who directly realize the fruit of stream entry. So these are the three categories of Arya disciple of the first fruit. So what is that Dhamma that one need to understand? And when you look at the essence of the Dhamma, and you can get a very good understanding of this from the passage in Upatissa and Kolia's days, when those people who were new to Buddha's teachings, they were influenced by all these Vedic and Brahmanic type of philosophies, and they were seeking the way out. They understood that this samsara is never end. It just continues, goes on and on. And Buddha's message, and the Venerable Assaji was giving that sort of a brief note to Sariputta, the officer. Then what the Buddha's message distilled into one sentence, that was the of all things that arise from the cause, their cause the Tathagata has told. Yeah. So that means everything that at that time it was considered, all these experiences, these are done by some divine, supreme being that's injecting consciousness into our experiences. It's kind of there were many philosophies, but the conditionality element, that means these are dependent on a cause and condition, that got Sariputta, the Patissa, into stream winning. He understood the process that all our suffering, all our life is dependent. That was enough for him to understand that. That means we are actively promoting, we are creating the causes and conditions for this sort of experiences. So, and the next part of this is that because they are conditioned, because they are fueled by some sort of sources that is concocting this sort of experience. That means it is not stable. It is fabricated. It is a false notion. It is a false experience. Yeah. And solution for that sort of problem at that time was to kind of you might all of you know the concept of yoga. Yeah. How you can be united with your ultimate self, or that sort of practice of yoga, and that sort of trying to you know get in contact with that sort of divine creation. Yeah. So that kind of concept was prevalent at the time, and what the Buddha introduced, what the Buddha gave to the world, was the state of what is called Nirodha. And Nirodha is not, I would not call Nirodha as a cessation. I would call Nirodha as prevention. Yeah, prevention or Nirodha is if you look at the some sort of a Sanskrit or Pali dictionary, Nirodha means Nirodha is, for example, you know the word conception, yeah, conceptualizing, yeah, conceiving. So like women give birth, yeah, they conceive, yeah, and they take a pill, and that conceiving stops, yeah. So they have what they have prevented was the prevention of the birth of a child, yeah. So Nirodha is kind of stopping or preventing that event to occur by removing the cause, yeah. So Nirodha is not a cessation. Some people think that that gives a bit of negative connotation. Nirodha means, is it a annihilation? Is it a kind of disappearance? Is it a kind of a extermination of experiences? And they become anxious. Do I want to lose all this, world of that that is so precious? I have got very extremely good experience. Why I want to experience Nirodha? Why I want to let go of that sort of extremely fine and a pleasurable thing that for the sake of what is an experience called Nirodha. So Nirodha is not kind of extinguishment or cessation. To be fair, Nirodha is prevention of the sort of suffering. Yeah. So if we can understand this, this why this Four Noble Truth is so important to understand. If we understand Nirodha in this sense, what the Four Noble Truth is the Nirodha of suffering. Yeah. So what the Buddhas gave to the world is this suffering can be prevented, and there is a state of being suffering, all the suffering completely being taken out of the equation of suffering. Yeah, that is the state of Nibbana. Yeah, so Nirodha is kind of coming to the sort of stopping all the sort of flow. Yeah, so you can call it uh, uh, some sort of flow experiences, and Nirodha is that sort of coming to that sort of going through that process of pulling that sort of let's say causes from all these sort of uh, let's say phenomena that are sustaining that process. And when that process is the source for that process is being pulled out because of our practice, then that phenomena subside for good. And we have been able, those phenomena, when they are presented for good, that is the cessation of suffering, Nirodha. Nirodha in us, what is it, Dukha Nirodha, yeah, you can call it Nibbana, you can call it deathless, you can call it unconditioned, unbinding, no fire, no cravingless, no proliferation, and so on. Yeah. So that is, and I in the last talk I showed a diagram of how this universe, all this vibration, all this oscillation is we are in the oscillation all the time. Yeah, all these sense faculties, six senses are fueling our experiences all the time. And from this world of experiences, how do we arrive at the prevention of all these experiences? And there is a gradual path, and that gradual path is what is called the samatha vipassana. Is that uh, Buddha's strategy, if I can say a strategy, is that What the Buddha found was that, okay, you want to be free of this phenomena, but because you are in this, you are part of the equation. Say you have got A plus B equal to C, and your body is B, and A is your mind. How can you make C equal to 0? You have to be A plus B equal to C, which is you want to make that C as 0, but you are part of that equation. So how do you do that? Your engagement, you have to, what is called, that is why in this process you are the part of the experience. Yeah. So you are deeply embedded in this whole process. So you cannot bring the end of suffering by reacting, because all these reactions, all these sort of experiences that is being reacted, we saw that it's gonna increase, it's gonna prolong, it's gonna amplify, it's gonna even make the experience bigger and more profound. So the strategy for the Buddha was he's, he wanted to see how he can be free of experiences. That's why he used that sort of a method of tranquility. He allowed the body and mind to calm itself, and then he could observe what is the net effect of that sort of uh, stealing, or what is called the stealing of formation, or we call it relaxed state. Yeah. So in the 6 hour process, we have got a relaxed state. Is we're gonna settle, let this phenomena settle by taking a step back, just taking a very very gentle, uh, putting a little bit of break on this sort of phenomena, and observing what is what kind of effect that has in the mind. And obviously Buddha had to see, is this process uh, kind of a, does it align with the sort of a the path of what is called the virtue general, virtue collectiveness and samadhi. So Buddha wanted to not to disturb the process. Yes, he wanted to see what is the kind of reaction, what is causing this chain reaction, and he wanted to see what is called, what is behind all the sort of let's say a mystery of all these phenomena keep going on and on. So I if I wanted to give an analogy, yeah, say for example, you have seen river Ganges, or what is the biggest river in the world, Yangtze River, or some sort of sea. Nobody has seen the river bed from, because that river has been going for countless years. Yeah. So how do you know what is behind that bed of the river? So, and that is what we are doing in the practice, is that we are gradually that's sort of building a dam, or some sort of let's say a reservoir, or some sort of thing, to uncover what is behind all this phenomenon. Yeah? So the practice of stealing of the formation, we are building that sort of some sort of infrastructure to be able to observe what is behind that. So then what the Buddha found was that after you have still the kind of all these activities for body, speech, and mind, you have uncovered more and more peaceful state. Yeah, the mind becomes less and less agitated. Mind became very quiet, and mind became so quiet, and that kind of state is, there is no, let's say, there is, even the mind is I call it like you have got a flame. That flame is now flickering. Yeah? It's about to go away at any time. So I don't know how much of memory you have, or you experience. when I was in the sort of a state in need of perception back in I don't know, 7 8 years ago, I used to see that okay, this mind is gonna go away. Yeah, this it's like there's a wind blowing and there's a little candle left, and this mind is gonna give up anything. So I used to sense, I used to experience that sort of that's it. This um all these experiences is gonna be go away. Yeah. So and imagine how that was for the Buddha. Yeah. Nobody kind of was willing to go beyond that sort of experience because they consider that they if they were to give up that perception, then that is annihilation. They considered the state of that perception to be completely free of perception. At that time, in the time of the Buddha, they consider this is gonna destroy all their beliefs and ideas. They were equating that with some sort of annihilation. Yeah. Um, Buddha was the first kind of, let's say, experimenter. Okay, I don't care if my life goes away, if I never will return to this world, be it, I will sacrifice it. And he just experimented that. Okay, I'm gonna let go of anything in this mind. Nothing, if I die, that's fine. Yeah. That kind of fearless attitude, that kind of a very, very strong determination that drove Buddha's quest to see what is this kind of perception. Because people were getting some idea, all this kind of suffering arise due to perception. If you don't perceive, where is that suffering? Yeah. And this is exactly, if you look at that sort of Buddha's recipe, the suffering arises due to perception. If you do not perceive, then that perception uh, does not affect feeling. If that feeling is not affected, it doesn't affect the consciousness. And if there is no, if consciousness is not being affected, you cannot have that sort of effect from four great elements. Yeah. So that means these. How can you become free of materiality, free of all these other impingement, free of this contact? Is you all these are sustained by a small thread called perception. Yeah. So when that perception is let go of, then all these dependence phenomena just fell apart like dominoes. Yeah. And all of a sudden, that perception is let go of by tranquilizing, yeah, by stealing of those perception, yeah. At the stage of neither perception, you haven't got that sort of verbal and bodily that sort of sankharas disturbing you. You are purely dealing with that mental sankhara, which is purely perception. So that experience is gonna like a candle is blown. Yeah, that's it. Perception, feeling, and all the dependent phenomena just fell apart. Yeah. So when that sort of phenomena fell apart, then all these sort of activities also subsided. So Buddha, because obviously mind is dependent on all this sort of phenomena, and because these phenomena have been let go of, mind has no contact with any kind of sense awareness. Yeah. So all the sense awareness was gone. Yeah. So that kind of say complete voidness, that state of complete, let's say, non-world, it's a loss of sense, six senses, that gave him that drove him the what is called that is the kind of what is the genesis of, that is the point of where all these kind of phenomena, stop. Yeah. And when you arise, now that Nirodha, or can call it Nirodha, Sanya Beda, Nirodha, cessation of persistent feeling, is a temporary phenomenon. You cannot stay in that state for. It's not a kind of a refuge. It's not your abiding. Yeah, it's not one of those heaven or world. It's just a temporary. Let's say your laboratory, rig or your experimental test bed. Yeah. So what happens? You stay in that experience for 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes, and then what happens is that state you arise from that sort of state. Yeah. And when you arise from that state, it will bring that sort of a very, very vibratory, a shaky type of experience. You will see that, from the state of what is called, I call it singularity, because singularity means there is no dependency. So state of unconditioned is the sort of singularity. When that sort of state is reached and you are coming back to the sense faculties, being picked up, it's like computer software is you are press a power button and it got the power that start to load the operating system. So it is loading the operating system of your experience. Yeah. And what you see from that sort of clarity, you see those phenomena are they arise from this sort of what is called voidness because you have reacted to this phenomena. Yeah. So first awakening, the first direct, let's say, experience of this Dhamma of the Buddhas is that seeing the sort of very, very shaky and very, very, uh, let's say, vibrating, vibratory nature of this universe. Yeah. So you can see that, we we cannot really say that this world is happiness. Yeah. Because you have seen consciousness also shakes your perception, it shakes your feeling, and you know there is something far more peaceful. There is something completely independent. Something is never impacted by this sort of phenomena. So you know these sort of phenomena are not really something that leads to your happiness. Yeah. So that kind of a process uh, is is the first awakening to this Dhamma, to the direct experience. And what happens is that Buddha says the path to be free of this phenomenon is just rinse and repeat. I give it all the time. So there is no separate formula you use for switching from Sotapanna to Sakadgami, from Sakadgami to Anagami. There is no formula that there is nothing special about Arahat or Anagami or Sotapanna or Sakadgami. Yeah, it's the same process. Just you calm your mind, you allow the process to unfold, and because of your non-attention, the non-engagement. So yeah, you see, this dependent origination is sounds complicated, but it is all everything is there. So, for example, Buddha says, "Manasikara sambhava sabbe dhamma." That means all phenomena manifest due to attention. Yeah. So you see, the attention is already there, and where do you find your attention? Your attention is part of your nama. Yeah. So when nama, when the your material experience is reacted to, it becomes a namarupa. Yeah, because you pay attention. Because of the paying attention, that material become a reality, and because that material is now reacted to, because of the phenomena coming together, there is a concept called feeling, and when you react to the feeling, there is a craving. Yeah. So and that sort of all these sort of things are very very neatly. They're just they are on the back of each other. Yeah, they are just leaning together. Yeah? It's kind of very very, I don't know, I cannot call it tightly integrated. Maybe tightly integrated may be a good way to say that. So, and how you uncover this? Yeah, because whenever you conceptualize, you are already going far of millions of miles away from the reality. To find this extremely subtle, these sort of sneaky phenomena, they are just stitching together and staying in a very, very, if they were coming together like one after another, you could have used some sort of a meditation to refine your experience. You could use some sort of let's say, some sort of uh, practice, jhana practice to see what is behind. Because they are concurrently arising, they are leaning to each other, they are just dependent on each other. That kind of dependency made this discovery extremely important, extremely difficult. Yeah, and only Buddhas discovered this sort of process that this world is our fabrication. Yeah, it is our. We are creating this world. Yeah, not the other way around. It's not. It's not. World has given us some experience. Just we are creating this world. Yeah. So I don't know if I can go too much further in this. It's a bit of a here and there. I have not been able to follow a certain, let's say, outline today. I think I hope there has been some new information to you this time. I would like to probably take a step, make a stop here. Any question, please?
So that's a brilliant talk. Thank you very much indeed. Sir, could you please kindly remind what is the root of all phenomena? You said there is a sutta. Is there a sutta number or
Yeah,
is
I
the
don't.
name of the
Yeah,
sutta,
it's
please?
called Kima Mulaka Sutta. So Anguttara Nikaya.
Yes,
Let me search it. Kima,
of course.
Kima Mulaka Sutta. Yeah, so this is a very, very important sutta. Kima Mulaka Sutta. It says, uh, it says that the attention is the root of all. Attention is, uh, and that's why in the 6R process, what kind of attention we pay? We pay attention to the wholesome, and we let go of attention to unwholesome. Yeah. So this attention is very important word to understand. Ima Mulakas. Yeah. So Anguttara Nikaya 8.83, Book of 8, Sutta number 83. So I don't know if it is Bhikkhuvadi's translation might put it somewhere else. So it's called Kima Mulaka Sutta. Yeah. What is the root? Yeah. And attention is, it's not a root, but attention is the, let's say, it manifests all the Dhamma. Yeah. So you can see that this Dhamma means phenomenon. Yeah. Manasikara Sambhava Sabbe Dhamma. That means Manasikara is mind's projection. Yeah. So English word is attention, but Manasikara means mind doing the work. Yeah. So mind is tempted. Mind is, shall I say, bit agitated, and it tried to seek what is that experience. And because it's quite paradoxical, yeah. So the universe will give you, if you intend, yeah, and if you attain, so these sort of things, you are you are getting that something, but what you get is not what you want. You get what you deserve, yeah. So this karma is that. Karma is karma will give you what you deserve, not what you want, yeah. So if everybody got what they wanted, this karma will be invalid, because this karma it works in the sort of fair manner, because everybody need to get what they deserve, because otherwise why believe in karma, yeah. So Buddha's use of karma was that it is an impersonal process, and if you do something evil with your body, speech, and mind, the karma will not let you go anywhere. Karma is chasing us all the time, yeah. So let's be careful not to say lie, cheat others, and try to cause suffering to others, yeah. As soon as we do, even the intention, that is creating the karma. And this this path is the prevention of this karma from rising. So you can call it karma nirodha. This path is also one of those. Yeah. Okay. Does that have you found that?
Thank you very much. That's brilliant,
There are
sir.
there are
Thank you.
12 or 13 steps. Yeah. So the mindfulness is the chief again among all the Dhamma. Samadhi is chief among all the experiences, and so on. Yeah, so it's very good sutta, and it will probably give you a bit of yeah. I think that is how you know the value of time. Okay, great. Any other questions? So
Hi, do
hope
you have any
all of you
questions?
will be an arahat one day. Yeah. So just keep practicing, and yeah, I'm sure it's there all the time. Yeah. Okay, Kanav.
What's the sutta again in there? Ima?
It's called Kima. I'll put it down, okay? I'll give you a link. It's a really good sutta, but it needs a little bit of explanation, yeah? So it doesn't give you all this sort of. AN 8.83, Book of 8, Sutta number 83. And he said, Kima mulaka abuso sabbe dhamma, ma chanda mulaka abuso sabbe dhamma. So, where are the root of all phenomena? Chanda. Yes, chanda is, what is chanda? Chanda is that hint of craving. Yeah. So this world is, what is sustaining this world? The cocktail of the spice of chanda. Yeah. The craving. That sort of sprinkling of delight. That is keeping this world. Yeah. And it is extremely fragile, but extremely persistent. Yeah. So what the Buddha found was this universe is extremely fragile, but it goes, it remains, it just gets fuel all the time. Yeah. And what he found was that this is so unstable, it's so flaky, it's so kind of weak, but it is so persistent. For example, have you heard of gravity? Yeah. Gravity is so weak, but it's universal. In a similar manner that kind of this world is sustained by just little hint of very subtle that sort of craving. Yeah, that is. And why you want to hook onto this sort of something so fragile, something so flaky? Should we not go for something that is not dependent, something that is not leaning to anything, and that was the quest for Nibbana. Yeah? Okay, and yeah, so fear not, don't worry, let go of any kind of any anticipation, and this this is the utmost relief. Yeah, only way to describe, make sense of Nibbana is the relief. Yeah, don't use the word of joy, happiness, pleasure, peacefulness, all that sort of things. Yeah. It's just a relief. It's like, have you ever been to seen that experience? This world just goes on and you are unaffected, just at ease. Nothing is bothering you. Nothing is gonna impact you. See, that is the state, right? Okay,
Okay.
okay. Have good
I
practice
finished the
and be
plums.
successful. Yeah, and may you become arhat, all of you. Yeah.
Thank you. I finished your plums this morning. Very nice.
Yeah, nice. Okay, good.
Give me a bag of plums.
Yeah, and the jam and that sort of.
But I
My
didn't
God.
crave them.
Okay, just eat without craving. Yeah, that's it. Let go of all the sensual experience. Just enjoy be in the present moment.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. Let me, Nanda. I don't know. Should we just share this merit? Today is a special. Our Dhamma friend Yusuf. He said that his nan passed away today. So let's make this sharing of the merit for today for the her utmost welfare and happiness. Yeah. Okay. May suffering ones be suffering free and the scarestruck careless be. May the grieving sailor
Beings shed all
may
grief, and
all
may
beings
all beings find relief.
relief.
May all beings share
May
this
this
merit
merit
that we
that
have
we
thus
have thus
acquired
acquired
for the
for the
acquisition of
acquisition
all
of
kinds
all
of
kinds of happiness.
happiness. May beings inhabiting
Inhabiting
space and earth,
Devas,
devas and
and
nagas of mighty power, share this merit of ours. May they long protect the Buddha's dispensation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay, thank you all. Have a good Saturday.
Okay. Bye all.
Bye.